Hey guys, thank you so much for 200,000 subscribers. That is a big number, and together with Speedcube Shop, we're giving away $200 in gift cards. The giveaway has 6 winners, and all of the prizes are listed on screen. So all you have to do is leave a comment below, and make sure you keep a lookout for the video where I announce the winners. I'll be announcing it in the next few weeks, and you can click subscribe if you want to be notified of when that video comes out. Good luck to all of you, and now on to the Q&A. Do you plan on doing YouTube full time? Just a year ago, this was not possible for me. But now it looks like it will be, as long as things keep going the way they are. So hopefully I will be able to do YouTube full time because I really like it, it's really fun. But if you want to help me do YouTube full time, make sure you click subscribe and click the bell and all that. Also patreon.com/jperm. Why is your logo a 2x2, but your main content of your channel is 3x3? Well, when I decided on the name jperm, I did go look for images specifically of 3x3s, but I don't think it looked very good because the actual things you're looking at are very small. And for a YouTube logo, I feel like it needs to be simple and pop out, so that's why I went with a 2x2. What is the most hilarious non-cuber encounter that you ever had? So one time I was solving in front of some people, and then I did a solve like under 10 seconds. They were really impressed, and there was one woman who was so impressed that she said that I am so smart and so handsome and I should meet her daughter. I respectfully declined. So 3 questions here. What is your favorite game? Currently, I like to play Smash Bros. Melee and Smash Bros. Ultimate, but one of my favorite games is 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors, which is a visual novel. Do you watch anime? I used to a little bit. I'd love to watch anime and shows and movies and all that, but I just don't have time for it now. How long have you been cubing? I think I started cubing around 11 years ago, but I have not been cubing for 11 years. A lot of that time was either taking a break or I did kind of cube, but I wouldn't consider myself much of a cuber because I wasn't trying to improve or anything. So in total, I might give myself like 6 or 7 years, but that still might be generous. Did you expect yourself to have 200,000 subscribers while you were creating a channel? Absolutely not. I made the channel with no expectations and the goal of maybe one video going a little popular and getting 20,000 views, but I did not expect this to happen ever. If you can do anything to change the WCA rules, what would you change? Adding new events more often, I think would be a good thing because it adds excitement as well as a new aspect that we don't see a lot because of how established our events currently are. Right now, it's like if you want to go learn Scube, there's a method out there you should learn and the people at the top use that method and you are basically trying to climb their mountain. But if a new event was added that no one really had established anything for, then it would be a different kind of race where you're trying to come up with the best method and trying to come up with the best techniques you should use, which is a totally different kind of competition that I think would be healthy as well. Any tips for your first competition? You're probably not going to do as well as you think you will at home, and the reason is because it's completely different conditions. There's people, there's noise, and there's a stack mat timer, which you may not be used to using. All of those can take you way out of your comfort zone, so don't expect to do that well. I had already cubed a long time before I went to my first competition, and I averaged 12, but my first average in competition I think was 15 seconds. Obviously 15 is good for a first competition, but it's not good if you're averaging 12. The other thing is make sure you go and make friends there. You're probably not gonna just talk to someone and be their friend instantly because that's not how friendships work, but just sit with some people at a table. Everyone's very nice, and eventually you may make some friends. How long do you think cubing will last for? Do you think it will last until the end of humanity? So when the apocalypse arrives, all cubes will be destroyed and no one will know about cubing again. What do non-cubers say about your expensive cubes? Well, first of all, since I'm sponsored by Speedcube Shop now, I get the cubes for free, but I used to have a lot of cubes that were expensive, and one thing you can say about it is just point to any hobby that requires you to pay for lessons. Cubing doesn't need you to pay for lessons, and if you go to a few, I don't know, basketball or dance lessons, that ends up costing more than probably your whole cube collection. And same can be said for video games. You don't need lessons, but the console plus one game only probably costs as much as someone's entire cube collection. With how advanced cubing hardware is today, what kind of innovations do you think will happen in future puzzles? Yeah, it's quite advanced, but we are coming up with new innovation all the time. It's not necessarily like corner-cutting innovation like we had before, but there is innovation with customizability so that one cube can suit more people. And then there's also the PVC coating that I talked about in the video that I'll link on the top. It doesn't make me faster at all when I'm practicing, but it does make me faster in competition. So that's another really cool innovation. And then there's also electronic cubes, which right now don't really help in the competition or setting records aspect, but maybe one day it will. Maybe one day we'll shape our competitions around being able to use those. Is there any way to lube cubes without buying those expensive lubricants? So the one lube I always recommend is weight 5. So I have a tutorial on how to lube your cubes with that as well, and that is the only one I use. If you want your cube slower, apply it closer to the outside of the piece, and if you want your cube faster, apply it closer to the inside and ignore the outsides. So I get weight 5 from Speedcube shop with the discount code JPerm, but if you can't do that, then you can check out Trax's 50K. That is very similar to weight 5 and pretty much works exactly the same way that I described. But if you're looking for like Vaseline or vegetable oil or just something that you have laying around in your house, nothing of that kind is going to be good. So if you want to lube your cube, you are going to have to spend a little bit of money on it. What do you major in? In college, I major in computer science. That's how I made the website myself, but oddly enough, nothing from my degree has taught me how to make that website, so I even looked for courses on it and there isn't anything, so I don't know what I'm doing. Apart from YouTube, speedcubing, and studying, do you have other hobbies, and how do you manage your time for all that? Well, first of all, studying is not a hobby. So I think I talked about time management a bit in my last video. Oh yeah, the hobbies. I used to play tennis, but not so much anymore. And I also, I like doing other random things like playing table tennis and badminton, board games like Settlers of Catan. I don't do those all that much because of how I manage time, which is find my favorite things and do a lot of that. And I don't think that works for everyone because a lot of people like a lot of variety, but that's not really me. For example, I don't watch TV shows, even though I would love to. I rarely watch movies, and I don't hang out with people as much as most people do, which, again, I'd love to if I had as much time as I wanted, but I don't. So I spend it all on the things that I really like, which is like mostly speedcubing and YouTube, and playing Smash once in a while because I really like that too. Do you think it is possible to develop a new method completely different from what we already know for 3x3? For example, Roux, CFOP, ZZ, and Petrus, and one that is really competitive. So if you think Roux or CFOP is the best method we can come up with, then the answer is no. But I don't think that's the best method we can come up with. But the problem with that is once you have come up with that method, it's hard to know if it's better. I recently did a video where I compare Roux, CFOP, and ZZ. So from the initial analysis, it seems as if Roux and ZZ are the best and CFOP is the worst out of those three. But the more you look at it, the more it looks like Roux and CFOP are the best and ZZ is not the best. So same would happen with a new method, but we would know even less about it. And so if it's less developed and the algorithms or certain parts of the methods aren't totally worked out, then you can't really know. So you have to devote a lot of time into it. And not a lot of people are willing to do that because if it ends up being a bad method, you kind of just wasted your time. How do you start your day as a normal person? Do you go to school or what? Yes, I go to school as a normal person when I have school on that day. How do you respond to I just peel the stickers off? Yeah, so when I solve cubes in front of people, there are a lot of common responses like I just peel the stickers off or wow, you can do that in 10 seconds. I could never do it in 10 years. Now, I think how you respond to this really reflects what kind of cuber you are because it's really not good to make fun of people for it because we've all been on the outside before. Like the reason a lot of people get into cubing is not because this would be a fun hobby. It's because wow, that's amazing and I want to amaze people with it. So when people naturally get amazed by it, once you're in cubing for long enough, it's like, it kind of just feels like a joke, which it shouldn't be because you've been amazed by it before as well. So I think it's really good to kind of show more of the realistic side of cubing. Like if someone says they just peel the stickers off, it's probably because they don't think that they are capable of, not cheating to solve the cube. And you don't have to, but I like to try and convince somebody that they actually would be able to. So I could say that at first I didn't think I would be able to do it either, but then I just looked up a tutorial and it ended up being way more fun and way easier than I thought it would be. And now I can impress people. How long do you think it will take for us to see a perfect 3x3? Will we run out of features? So a few things about this. A perfect 3x3 is impossible because everyone's perfect 3x3 would be different. That is because our hands and our muscles and how we do finger tricks and whatever are all different. And I think there is something to be said for why we buy new cubes, even if it doesn't end up necessarily being better than our old ones. So for example, the first time I got a magnetic 4x4, it didn't make me that much faster instantly, but it did make me like practicing a lot more because the cube it just felt so much better. And probably more than that, it just felt different. And often that can motivate me to practice more. So I think a lot of people are like that, which is why even if you don't need it, people do like to buy new cubes. And that's why you should also never tell someone who's really slow that it's okay to have a really, really bad cube because they're not gonna like solving on that. How is it like getting your first official sub-6 single? So when I got the 5.31 in competition, my first thought was, oh my god, that just happened. The difference between this and when I got the 6.62, which was also really good for me, is for the 6.62, I was like, wow, I just did that. Because the 6.62 felt earned. It was full step and I did a trick that really helped me. But then for 5.31, I mean, I did do a trick to skip OLL, but it was like pretty much the same as the last layer skip. So it felt more like this shouldn't have happened, but it just did. So of course I'm really happy and was really happy because that's such a good time, but I do really hope that one day soon I will break that with a solve that is not that lucky. Do you think Yushin should come out with another friend for your panda and tiger? Yeah, absolutely. They're starting to get lonely. I got the tiger and panda both a long time ago. So tiger and panda are very Chinese-based animals, like they're very important to China. I can't think of what other animals, maybe like a dragon from like Chinese festivals. That's not a real animal, but I think it would look really cool. So that's about it for this Q&A. Thanks for watching, and if you want to have your question featured in the next Q&A, then make sure you like my Facebook page and keep an eye out for that, especially when I hit some landmark number of subscribers, because that's typically when I do these. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.